A Kamala Harris, Mark Warner ticket could beat Trump in 2020. Now you're thinking Brody, which of course, if you know my name, you know too much, but you're thinking now Brody, of course Kamala Harris and Mark Warner ticket could beat Trump in 2020 because that guy's unelectable. He's got the lowest approval ratings ever. He may not even be president. He might get impeached. But careful how you think about that, because I thought the exact same thing about George W. Bush in 2004. In 2004, I would have bet my kidneys that George W. Bush would not have been reelected. But it's the only time in my lifetime that Republicans have won the popular vote. So that I'm not saying that's going to happen for Trump, but I'm just saying careful what you think you know about politics, because we thought that Hillary Clinton was going to beat Trump, and we thought that Trump would have never been the nominee. But I think that Kamala Harris and Mark Warner could beat Trump. Here's why. If you'll really notice Trump, he is a lot more skilled at abusing white women than black women. And what I mean by that, I know that sounds terrible, but like the way he goes after Christian Gillibrand or Elizabeth Warren or Mika Brzezinski, I think that's the first time we've ever had a president say, oh, one of my guests at the White House had a facelift or something. Megyn Kelly, Hillary Clinton. Trump's been abusing white women his whole life. So that's like a skill for him. That's like a part-time job. He knows how to do it. I mean, just ask Ivana, you know? So, but with black women, when you've got like Maxine Waters and that Congressman Wilson, they seem to really get under his skin in a way because he doesn't quite know how to handle them. In a way, the dream candidate to beat him would be Tyler Perry as Medea. Like if Tyler Perry could run as Medea, ooh, Trump, I'm going to get you, because he kind of looks like the bad guy in a Tyler Perry movie anyways. The white banker who looks like he forecloses on a house. He's got bad hair. He's like the cartoonish villain. But the next best thing is Kamala Harris. Now, I know people are thinking, well, just because she could beat him at a debate, or she could get under his skin, or she could unnerve him in a certain way, that's no guarantee that she would actually beat him. But look at some things about Democratic presidents. Now, typically, the Democrats win when they nominate somebody very young. JFK was 43, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, they were in that 47, 48 range. Jimmy Carter was like 52. Even FDR, who we think about as being an old man when he was president, he was only 55 years old. It's just that he became an old man because he was there forever. But we have not elected a first-term, non-incumbent president who was younger than the age, or who was older than the age of 55. So all of our presidents have been between, that 35 to 55 sweet spot. Kamala Harris will be young enough, whereas Bernie and Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden and Jerry Brown, they'll all be older than 70, okay? So she'll have youth, which is how winning Democratic presidents typically do it. A lot of our times we say, oh no, we got to go for a centrist Democrat. Republicans used to say that about centrist Republicans, but the center keeps losing in these big races. Barack Obama was to the left of where John McCain was to the right. He beat John McCain. He beat Mitt Romney, a centrist Republican. George W. Bush, they kept putting centrist Democrats. Al Gore, John Kerry, they kept losing. Bill Clinton managed to beat Bob Dole, a centrist Republican. And of course, George H.W. Bush was a centrist Republican. Ronald Reagan, people said he's way too far to the right to ever beat a sitting incumbent president, and he did. He killed Jimmy Carter. So I just feel like that's not such a big deal anymore. And so this need to run towards the center is not really going to work. But I don't think the need to run to somebody like Bernie is going to work either, because the guy's never been a real Democrat. I know his fans don't care about that. But it matters, okay? He may very well beat somebody like Trump or Mike Pence. He'd probably die at the podium because he's so old. He'd have I finally won. And then he collapses into the stage and they do like a weekend at Bernie's. They move him around the crowd or something. But if he ever did finally win, his VP is going to be president in about 6 weeks. But he'll probably never win the primary just because of the way that he's never been a real Democrat or whatever. I think Kamala Harris, though, she's not as hated by the Bernie people as Christian Gillibrand and Cory Booker and those kind of people that people want, this is the next Hillary Clinton and it's the next Barack Obama. Well, we do better when it's somebody that's not the next something, like it's somebody totally different than that. And she is that, but she's got the economic populism of an Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, but then some of the social liberalism of like a Cory Booker, Christian Gillibrand, the establishment likes her, the grassroots people like her. Plus, California's primary's been moved up. So if Gavin Newsom doesn't run, and I don't think he will, or Jerry Brown doesn't run, and I don't think he will, then she'll have the California primary to look forward to, home state advantage. The biggest problem for her will be the first 3 states, because Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, you've never had a person be the nominee from either party who hasn't won at least one of those contests. I don't think there's any way in the world she's going to win New Hampshire, bunch of racists. But even, because if Bernie wins, he's going to win New Hampshire in a landslide. If Warren wins, she'll win it in a landslide. If Joe Biden runs, so pretty much anybody that's not her is going to win New Hampshire. But I think she could easily win South Carolina. That's exactly where she should focus, South Carolina. And even if she could come in second in Iowa and, first in South Carolina, I think she stands a really good shot at picking up the nomination. Now, I say Mark Warner should be her VP because if you look at it, there's never been a Democratic president who hasn't won at least 2 southern states. So Mark Warner gives her Virginia, and I think she'll be good enough on her own to pick up Florida. But you got to win at least 2 of the traditional southern states to become president. And it's anybody's guess as to what that'll be. She could win Georgia. They might be so fed up with Trump by that point she can win someplace like Georgia. But the key for Democratic victories is increased minority turnout because that's who put Doug Jones into the Senate seat in Alabama, black women. Now, they're probably ready for a candidate of their own. That'll be her and a lot of women. I don't know what it is, but it seems like we used to have the Madonna or the whore. A woman was either a mother or a whore. Now it seems like it's a Cersei Lannister or a Daenerys Targaryen. I don't believe this about Hillary Clinton, but for some reason people thought she was Cersei Lannister. I always thought she was a great person, but they just cast her in that role of like scheming and power hungry and vain. And I don't believe that about her, but she was seen as Cersei Lannister. People see Kamala Harris as Daenerys Targaryen. She's won huge victories against the banks, against the student lending process. She's out front on health care. I think she could be a fantastic president because she knows the law in a way that she could sue the oil companies over climate change or the banks over some shit that they're doing or something like that. I don't think she's anybody's puppet. I think she'd be fantastic. And most importantly, she's ambiguous enough because it's not just youth, but we also pick presidents based on less experience. I know that sounds crazy, but we do that. If you go back and look at the history, we like presidents that don't have a lot of experience and that are kind of ambiguous. We don't know a lot about them. I don't know a lot about her in terms of what kind of movies does she like, what kind of TV shows, a little bit more about her personality. And that thing where people are a little bit vague and unknown, people project what they want to. They see a cipher and they put that on you. Kamala Harris and Mark Warner, I think, could be huge for the Democrats in 2020.